Imagine this. You walk into a room and people stop speaking. Not out of dislike, but out of a silent, involuntary respect. They measure their words around you, their actions subtly adjusting in your presence. They do not see you as just another person. They see you as someone who commands authority. This is not love. This is not admiration. This is something far more powerful. Now, picture the opposite. You enter a room, and people smile at you, laugh with you, shower you with compliments. You think you're liked. You think you're accepted. But behind closed doors, those same people dismiss your words, ignore your presence, and exploit your kindness. You are loved, but you are not respected. And in a world driven by power, love without respect is nothing more than a trap. Niccolò Machiavelli understood this brutal reality centuries ago. He saw how rulers who sought to be loved were overthrown, how leaders who relied on kindness were betrayed, and how those who commanded fear without falling into hatred were the ones who truly held power. But here's the dilemma. Fear alone can breed resentment, and hatred creates enemies who never forget. The real secret to power is not just to be feared. It is to be respected, to command an aura of authority so strong that people think twice before crossing you, yet never despise you enough to seek your downfall. So, how do you master this balance? How do you cultivate fear without allowing it to turn into hatred? And why is this principle not just for kings and rulers, but for every aspect of your life? Whether it's your career, your relationships, or your daily interactions. Let's break down the Machiavellian truth. One that society does not want you to know. You've been lied to your entire life. Since childhood, you were told that kindness is the key to success, that being agreeable and pleasant would win you love, loyalty, and prosperity. You were trained to seek approval, to be the person others want you to be, to never upset anyone, to always be nice. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, is it true? Has kindness truly protected you? Look at the world around you. Who holds power? Who commands respect? Is it the ones who seek love and approval, bending at the will of others? Or is it the ones who stand firm, who impose their presence, who are respected, not just loved, but also feared? The truth is, love is fragile, but fear endures. A person's love for you is conditional. It fluctuates based on emotions, circumstances, and personal interests. One wrong move, one disagreement, and the love someone had for you can vanish overnight. But fear? Fear is ingrained. Fear stays. Fear ensures respect even when emotions waver. This doesn't mean you have to be cruel or ruthless. That's the mistake of those who misunderstand Machiavelli. True power doesn't come from mindless intimidation. It doesn't come from being a tyrant. It comes from being a presence that cannot be ignored, a force that people hesitate to cross. And why? Because they respect the consequences. The tragic fate of those who only seek to be loved. History is full of men who relied on love alone, who thought being kind, generous, and adored would protect them. They all met the same fate. Julius Caesar was beloved by his people, yet stabbed in the back by his own trusted allies. Louis XVI of France was a well-meaning, soft-handed ruler who wanted to please everyone and ended up losing his throne and his head. John F. Kennedy was deeply admired, yet was betrayed by the very forces he believed would support him. On the other hand, figures who balanced respect and fear. Leaders like Augustus Caesar, Napoleon Bonaparte, and even modern-day figures who maintain an aura of controlled dominance have managed to secure their influence and authority for far longer. But you don't have to look at history to see this truth. Just look at the world around you. The boss, who is too lenient, too eager to be liked, finds himself disrespected by employees who show up late, cut corners, and ignore his orders. Meanwhile, the leader who commands firm respect, who isn't afraid to enforce rules, is the one who maintains control. The Shah, man in a relationship, who is endlessly giving, overly kind, and desperate to please, is often left for someone who exudes mystery and power, because one is seen as predictable and safe, while the other is seen as exciting and dominant. The friend, who is always available, who never says no, is the one who is taken for granted, while the one who sets firm boundaries is the one who is valued. People test boundaries. They push, they prod, they explore how much they can get away with. And the moment they sense weakness, the moment they feel you are desperate for their approval, they lose respect for you. This is why Machiavelli argued that fear, not cruelty, but strategic fear, is the foundation of true respect. A person who is feared, but not hated, is someone who commands influence. They move through life untouched by the petty manipulations of others. They are seen as respected figures, not pawns to be used and discarded. The balance of respect and fear. So how do you cultivate this? How do you build an aura of authority where people respect you enough to never challenge you, yet never despise you enough to seek your downfall? Machiavelli's answer is simple. It is much safer to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Notice the key part. If you cannot be both. The goal is not to be hated. Hatred invites rebellion. It breeds enemies who will stop at nothing to destroy you. Instead, you must create an environment where people know that if they cross you, there will be consequences. 1. Be fair, but firm. Reward loyalty, but punish betrayal swiftly. People must know that your kindness is not weakness. 2. Be unpredictable. If people can always anticipate your response, they can manipulate you. Sometimes, be forgiving. Other times, be ruthless. Keep them guessing. 3. Never let emotions dictate your actions. Emotional outbursts make you look weak. A leader who controls his emotions controls his environment. 4. Set boundaries and enforce them. Never allow repeated disrespect. If someone crosses a line once and you let it slide, they will do it again. 5. Keep your power to yourself. Never share influence with those who do not understand or respect it. Power should be handled like a sword, wielded with precision, not handed out carelessly. When people fear disappointing you more than they desire your approval, that's when you have mastered power. This balance, respect, and controlled fear, is the secret to influence. It is why A king is obeyed, but a tyrant is overthrown. It is why a respected leader is followed, but a weak one is ignored. And it is why you, if you truly want to be strong, must stop seeking love and instead learn to command respect. Because love is a gift, but respect is a decision. And the world only respects what it cannot break. But here's the question you must answer. If everything you've been told about kindness, love, and approval was a lie, if history proves that those who are feared survive, while those who are only loved are betrayed, then ask yourself this: what have you been sacrificing in your desperate attempt to be liked? And how much more will you lose before you realize that respect is worth more than fleeting affection? You now understand why being respected, and even feared, is more valuable than being loved. But what happens when you fail to grasp this? What happens to the man who believes kindness is a shield? To the leader who wants to be loved by everyone? To the individual who avoids confrontation and refuses to command authority? The answer is simple. They become disposable. The employee who never speaks up, never asserts their worth, and always bends to their boss's every demand. He is overlooked, underpaid, and discarded when he's no longer convenient. The man in a relationship who suppresses his needs, tolerates disrespect, and bends over backward to keep his partner happy. He is replaced by someone with a backbone, someone who commands respect rather than begs for love. The leader who avoids hard decisions, fears being disliked, and seeks to please everyone. He is seen as weak, ridiculed in private, and abandoned when real challenges arise. The reality of power. People exploit weakness. No one will tell you this outright, but the world is ruthless to those who lack the will to impose their presence. People exploit kindness when it has no boundaries. They take advantage of those who refuse to enforce consequences. And the moment they sense weakness, whether in business, relationships, or life itself, they push further until that person crumbles under the weight of their own submissiveness. Think about it. Why do people respect their bosses, but not their overly nice coworkers? Why do people admire strong, dominant figures, but take advantage of those who are too accommodating? Why do the most influential people in history, leaders, conquerors, thinkers, command a mix of fear and admiration rather than pure affection? Because love is optional, but respect is mandatory. When someone loves you, they have a choice. They can walk away. They can change their feelings overnight. But when someone respects you, when they know that disrespect has consequences, they hesitate before crossing you. And that hesitation, that's power. The man who commands no respect. Consider a man who has spent his life trying to be good. He has done everything society told him to do. He is polite, agreeable, and kind to everyone he meets. He works hard, but never demands recognition. He avoids conflict, believing that keeping the peace will earn him respect. But over time, he starts to notice something. His colleagues get promotions, while he is left behind. His friends rarely value his time, assuming he'll always be available. His partner loses attraction to him, no longer seeing him as someone strong, but as someone predictable, someone safe, but unremarkable. He is not hated, but he is not respected either. And this is the cruel fate of those who refuse to understand the reality of power. They are tolerated, but never truly valued. Machiavelli's warning: the dangerous illusion of love. Niccolo Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He warned against the illusion that love could ever be a solid foundation for power. In The Prince, he famously wrote, "Men sooner forget the death of their father than the loss of their inheritance." What does this mean? It means people's emotions are fleeting, but their self-interest is eternal. They will forget the good things you've done for them. They will forget the sacrifices you've made. But they will never forget the boundaries you set, the respect you command, and the consequences of crossing you. And yet, you were told to seek love over respect. You were told to be kind, to be soft, to make yourself easy to like. No one warned you that in doing so, you would become easy to ignore. And the balance: fear without hate. Now, you might be wondering, does this mean I should become cruel? Should I abandon kindness entirely? No, that's the mistake of tyrants. That's the path of those who do not understand the balance between fear and hate. Because once fear turns into hatred, you create enemies who will stop at nothing to destroy you. This is the reason ruthless dictators are eventually overthrown. It's why bullies are eventually beaten. It's why those who rule with fear alone eventually collapse under the weight of their own oppression. The secret is control. Be strong but fair. Be kind but not indulgent. Be feared but never hated. A respected man is someone whose presence commands attention, whose words carry weight, whose actions demand consideration. A feared man is someone people hesitate to betray, knowing the consequences. But a hated man is someone people secretly wish to destroy. And that is why Machiavelli warned against absolute cruelty. He knew that fear keeps people in check, but hatred plants the seeds of rebellion. If you can master this balance, if you can walk the fine line between respect and fear without ever falling into hatred, you will hold true power. Because a person who is loved may still be betrayed. But a person who is feared with respect will never be underestimated. The final question: are you strong enough to accept this truth? Now we reach the final moment. This is where most people turn away. This is where they deny what they have just heard, because the truth is too painful to accept. But you've made it this far. You feel something shifting inside you, a realization, a burning question. Have you spent your life trying to be loved, only to be forgotten? Have you mistaken kindness for strength, only to be disrespected? And if love is not enough to protect you, will you finally choose to command the respect you deserve? The choice is yours.